Welcome to the Healthcare Provider Happy Hour. This is a safe space where we invite healthcare providers to unapologetically be themselves after the working day. My name is Jennifer George, and each week I will connect you with guests and stories that will help transform your stress to success and fulfillment. Are you with me? Grab your drink of choice and let's chat. Hey everyone, welcome to the Healthcare Provider Happy Hour. I'm your host, Jennifer George, and I'm joining you this afternoon with a protein shake. I want to chat with you today a little bit about the myths around burnout and healthcare, things that I've seen, heard, understood from others in the field. And you may or may not agree with these, I don't know, but these are just my opinions and perspectives based on my own experiences and, just like I said, based on conversations with others over the years. So the first one is that burnout is inevitable. I don't know about you, but I'd like to think that that's not true. I think that signs and symptoms of burnout might creep in. And if you listen to the last podcast, I talked about this a bit. So I think, for example, maybe feeling exhausted at times, and then, becoming aware of that, for example, and then doing what you've got to do through self-awareness of it to help keep yourself back on track so that you don't spiral into a deeper burnout. Because when you think of burnout, right, there's typically four components of it. So there's exhaustion, right? There's cynicism, there's depersonalization, and there's a lack of personal motivation, right? You just feel like you're not making an impact anymore. So when all of those components hit and you spiral into a burnout, it becomes almost more medical. You end up probably having to take an extended period of time off. You're probably seeking medical services and things like that. And I don't think that is inevitable in healthcare to that extent if we become more self-aware of it on the forefront so that we can hopefully manage our emotions, manage our stress, manage our mental health and our self-care in order to prevent it from becoming this serious. Second of all, the second myth, well, it's normal. We've normalized it. And while that may be true, I know back when I experienced a bout of burnout back in 2000, I think it was between 2011 and 12, where I felt like I was depersonalized from my profession, from my colleagues and my peers, felt very untrusting. And when I also lacked personal motivation, I felt like I had no impact anymore. I was questioning my livelihood. I was ready to take myself out of my career, my profession. And I went through about a year of anxiety over this. It's not normal. Okay, so burnout, the myth of it being normal, it's not. Those feelings are not normal. And back then, I kind of made myself think that they were. And I think that was my way of coping with it. And the reality is that's not a normal feeling to have. You should not be feeling like you want to exit your profession, okay? If it's for a positive reason, like let's just say your growth is taking you to a whole different level, that's a different story. But if it's out of, like I said, components of burnout earlier, then that's not a normal feeling to have. Okay, so we as healthcare professionals, just because we work in a high stress environment, a high stress field, we should not be normalizing these feelings of anguish, anxiety, overwhelm, and making it sound like that's just part of what we do and we just got to go through it and we'll be okay, because we don't really know that. Third, it's common knowledge, it's overused. People just throw the word around. And yes, while that may be true, I really don't believe that burnout is common knowledge, though. I still believe that many people don't know what it is. And because many people don't know what it is, I think many people will experience it and not know how to cope with it, or not know how to seek services or help or guidance, or not know how to prevent it on the forefront of things. You know, to me, burnout is like anything else in terms of management, and that is through management on the preventative side as much as possible. Okay, and in doing that, it takes self-awareness. Okay, the other thing around this too is it's not common knowledge in the sense that people don't talk about, people in healthcare don't talk about burnout enough. And the reason why we don't talk about it enough is because if you look around, you're going to see some people thriving in what they do, or you're going to perceive that, while you might be suffering, and you might feel like you're comparing yourself to others, and you might be wondering, like, how are they keeping it all together, and why aren't I, right? So you're going to feel less comfortable sharing. The other thing around it is you're also going to feel less comfortable because you might feel that others will judge you, that others will think that you're not fit to practice because you can't manage your stress levels. And I've seen this in others before. I felt this way back then too. It was like, well, I'm going through so much anxiety over this. How am I going to be able to help others? And you start to doubt yourself, right? And what you might end up doing is throw yourself more into work because you're seeking your external validation now from others. But at the same time, you are burning out and suffering on the inside. So in my opinion, it's not an overused term. It's not spoken enough of in healthcare. I think that burnout needs to be an everyday topic, an everyday discussion. I think that check-ins need to happen every single day. It's not a one-time thing. It's something that we have to monitor over time in each and every one of us. So right now, I think that responsibility lies on the shoulders of healthcare providers right now. I don't know if organizations globally are doing anything that manages healthcare professional burnout of their staff over time. I think it's, resources are available, stuff like that, but I don't think there is that reciprocal active involvement and monitoring that is happening. So let me know what you guys think. These are my 3 myths that I hope I've helped you to kind of overcome if you've been feeling this way about burnout in healthcare. So the first myth is that it's inevitable. It's just going to happen. We're in a high stress field, so prepare for it. Second, that we normalize it, that it's normal to be burned out. That's the second myth. And the third myth is that it's an overused term, or that it's common knowledge, which it definitely is not. If it were more common, if it were more talked about, I think others would feel less burnout overall, but I think we would feel less shame and feel less alone in experiencing signs and symptoms of burnout. So let me know what you guys think. If this resonates with you, I would love to hear from you on Instagram. Just DM me. You can DM me at bestobsessed_with_Jen. Again, I always appreciate your relevance, your stories. They really do touch my heart, and it really makes me feel as well that we are getting somewhere together. So I thank you guys so much. The other thing I want to mention is that if you are experiencing signs and symptoms of burnout, like I was back then, and you don't have anybody to go to, you're looking for guidance, because like I said, many organizations don't supply an ongoing resource for people to monitor their stress, manage their stress, and monitor burnout. I definitely recommend that you seek coaching, which is why I offer one-to-one personal coaching for healthcare providers. I have 3 spots available. I would love to help you, and I just want you to know that you don't have to go at this alone. It's really hard to see alternatives and a way out when you are experiencing such high levels of overwhelm, uncertainty, anxiety, worry, fear, all of those things. Okay, so please reach out to me on Instagram if you want to talk more about what I have to offer you and to just see if we're a good fit. Like I said, you can message me at bestobsessed_with_Jen. And until we chat next time, guys, I hope you stay happy. So if you guys like this podcast, please subscribe and leave an honest review. Your feedback means everything to me. Your reviews are what moves this podcast forward, and I always appreciate receiving them. If you want to get a hold of me directly, reach out to me on social media. My handles are in the show notes, and you can always subscribe to my weekly newsletters at jennifergeorge.co so that we can stay connected. So until next time, thank you guys so much again for your ongoing support.